For example, what would you do if your app crashed and your dev asked you to give more details? I think the candidate just said to me that she cries. Hello. Now let's talk about interviews, because in the last 3 months I've been to 18 interviews, which is a lot even for me. Counting the others between 3 months, it's been like 22 interviews so far. So, QA interviews, how is it going? How are people showing up for the interviews? How are they knowledge represented, let's say? And let's talk the talk. I mean, what you really guys want to know. So one of the funny things that I remember was in an interview, I asked one of the candidates, for example, what would you do if your app crashed and your dev asked you to give more details? I think it was something with the logs. You should dig in the logs and see if there's anything else there that could help him. The candidate just said to me that she cries, and I was like, okay. So now that we've broken the ice with a little inside, it's not an inside joke. This is actually. Sadly, this was an interview question that happened to me, and I was like, okay. So, as I mentioned, 18 interviews in 3 months. Let's talk the talk. Do people still lie in their resume? Well, yes. I had not one, but several candidates who lied on several topics, but let me point out just the things they lie. They put into their resume, for example, database expert or something like that with MySQL and so on. And then when I asked them, okay, but I showed them 2 tables. I have some tables that I usually do and present to the candidates for my exercise part, and ask them, for example, what's the primary key, what's the foreign key, how to do, for example, they should tell me a query and a join, maybe depending on the level their knowledge is. But one of the candidates had the database expert, so on, and I thought, okay, but can you please do a query and just select, I don't know, all the students from this table? And she was like, but I didn't work like this. I mean, for me, databases were something different. So they actually used a tool which loaded some data from some files in a database. So they didn't even query to see if that info got there or not. So, and that was database expert. Okay, and I was like, yeah, man, sure, okay, if that's what you do, so fine by me. I mean, what else? One of the other topic, one of the other lies that I recently heard was, I saw in his resume, it was a male candidate, and he mentioned there functional and non-functional testing. And when I told him, okay, but can you please describe to me what do you mean by functional and non-functional? I saw that you wrote there in your resume, and he was like, I don't really know, but okay. So please don't put things in your resume that you don't know. At least you should have some basic knowledge about things that you put in your resume. I mean, that's common knowledge for everybody right now. You should not lie in your resume in 2021. I mean, for example, let's say, I know things evolved. Back in 2008, when I had my first interview, if you remember in one of my previous videos, I mentioned that one of my exercises at my first interview as a QA was I received a computer with a broken app and to find several bugs and note them make screenshots and note them in a notepad and link them and so on. And I found like, I don't know, 11, 12 bugs in that application. It was really nice and I was excited. Yeah, this is my first interview and so on. And now people just come to interview and don't even bother telling the truth in their resume. I mean, come on, common knowledge. You should not lie in your resume. So, let's get back to the point because I've deviated a little. So, things have evolved. Let's say, for example, the car. In the beginning, when they developed the car, they needed the main mode of transportation from point A to point B, right? Now, when you go buy a car, you don't buy it to go from point A to point B. You want air conditioning, you want, I don't know, tinted windows, you want radio, you want navigation, and so on, so on. It's the same for the interview. Back in 2008, when I was evaluated, there were different expectancies. I mean, lower expectancies because the market was so at the beginning that everybody still didn't knew all about QA and all the terms and so on. I didn't know everything, because it's normal when you start a job in a certain field, you get to work there, you learn and learn and learn over the years, and you get to a certain level. This is what happened to me, but I don't mean to brag myself or something like that. I just mean to help you. So if you're a QA right now, you should know about International Standard Qualification Board, ICT-QB. This is the certification for testers that almost everybody asks for it or requires or so on. And most of the interview questions that I heard are from there. So QA fundamentals go there, testing types go there. I don't know, terms, QA manager, QA, I don't know, everything you want, test manager, everything you are interested in there is in the ICT-QB Foundation Glossary. I mean, you just need to read a document. I know it's almost 100 pages, but come on, you're doing this for your own development. You need to do this, so please start doing this. Don't go to interviews just like that and just put some random stuff in your resume like nobody's gonna read that. This is not the case anymore. We read your resume. We want to help you. We wanted to bring you closer and be part of our colleagues, but you need to know your value. Yeah, so don't lie. If you lie, you're not gonna solve anything. Okay, so I got a little carried away, so let me just calm down. It's okay. Yeah, I got a little carried away because 18 interviews in 3 months is a little too much even for me. I mean, I have other tasks. I'm working on a project and so on. These are confidential data that is not really important to anybody. But just remember, you're going to an interview. At least find the time to reiterate what you know, because also a lot of candidates that came to the interview didn't knew what they were doing. For example, they were doing, I don't know, performance testing or load testing or stress testing, and when I asked them about their job and about their daily routine, they told me that they were doing load and stress, but they didn't know how to explain that. They were saying that we're doing some testing, which I don't know, and they're one of the candidates, I just remembered another thing that stuck in my mind was one of the candidates told me that he was stressing the application. And that is his job. He's stressing the application. I mean, what do you mean by stressing the application? For me, it's stressing the application. I mean, come on, what's that? And there are a lot of companies, because the IT market grew and blew up like crazy. I mean, you can't say this, but this is everywhere. This is not only in my country, this is everywhere. IT is going like crazy right now. Everybody is looking to hire, to develop websites, e-commerce, I don't know, machine learning, everything you can point a name at. Even the cashiers are going full automated. Now you can go buy stuff and scan yourself and just go outside without having the need for somebody to scan your item. So everything in our life is getting automated, it's getting developed, it's getting software and so on. So there's a more and more demand for IT developers, IT testers, managers, and so on, for everybody in IT, because the market is going up. So one of the things that I mentioned in several videos, the objective videos, the interviews and so on, please be cautious and think about you. Don't waste your time staying in the same job, not learning anything new for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, up to a year, because another year is gonna go by. You're gonna still doing the same stuff. You don't even know what's that stuff. You're just doing it because somebody told you. But besides that, you still have some time. You gotta be honest with me. There is some time for development. So what did you do for yourself last year? How did you develop yourself? Did you start reading a book? Did you start learning about something else? I don't know. It's up to you. But this is the main question that I ask. And also one of the favorite questions that I like to put to my candidates. This is not QA related, but I mean, it is somehow, because I want to see their mindset and what they think of their career. I tell them, okay, tell me one of the success stories in your career. And almost nobody tells me nothing. I mean, you gotta have something. You gotta be, I mean, I found a bug that crashed the application that was really major, and nobody could find it until I found it, and so on. So you gotta think, what did you do in your career that had an impact? Did you do anything? Maybe it's time you should do something. So these were 18 interviews in 3 months. And I'm getting back to work. See you in the next one. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for more awesome content. See you in the next one. Bye.